the current application cycle is still going, but we're almost in February, so I know that some ambitious, if not most ambitious pre-meds will start to prepare for the upcoming 2024 to 2025 application cycle for 2025 matriculation. So I thought I would make this video kind of going through specifically the AACOMAS application system, which is the application system used specifically for DO medical programs. I remember when I was applying this previous cycle, I was having trouble finding more information about the AACOMAS system online and on YouTube because mostly I would just see stuff about MCAT specifically. So I thought I would make this video for you guys to kind of add on to the small cohort of AACOMAS related videos that exist already. So let's get started. This application is what's going to help you send your primary application to all of the DO schools that you have selected. So a primary application, it will open and be able for submission sometime in May. I'm forgetting the exact date now, but unlike in AMCAS where once it opens, you kind of have to wait a certain time before you can actually click submit. For the DO applications, which is AACOMAS over here, you can click submit as soon as you finish entering everything and you feel like you're ready to click submit. So the moment it opens, you're able to submit it. This is the primary application. Like I said, it will get sent. The same information that you are typing up in here will get sent to all of the DO schools that you decided to apply to. And then later on, usually in July, but DO schools have been sending their secondaries a little bit earlier, some even sending them in May and June itself. So be ready for that. Do not be alarmed if you're getting your secondaries way earlier. Just make sure that you're pre-writing so that you can stay on track of them. But they will start to send you secondaries at some point, and those are school-specific. They'll send you links and portals to their own school-specific secondary application. So kind of after you finish your primary, you're not really going to be looking at this AACOMAS application section again that much. Then you'll just be getting school-specific information directly to your email. So as you can see, the user interface of AACOMAS is very pleasing and easy to use. Obviously, first we're going to input all of our personal information, so let's click on that. This is where they'll ask you your, where you were born, your, household income, how you grew up, any siblings that you have, what your parents do for a living, how much income your parents have, your race and ethnicity. And there's also a section that asks about any current family members you already have who are physicians, and it also asks you which year they graduated with their medical degrees. So I'm not going to click through each one of these because it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of the same stuff you might have inputted for a Common App when you applied for undergrad, but it's just this basic information and personal information about yourself that you're going to input. Just make sure you get a check mark next to each one, and then you're good to go with this section. There are 8 sections in total. So once that's done, you can get into your academic history. This has 5 sections. Make sure you get this check mark next to all of them, because I know at one point I was missing a check mark and I kind of didn't notice, and then AACOMAS actually had to send my application back to me to fix some of my transcript entries because there were kind of some missing spots in there. So just make sure you're reviewing everything and you do have all these check marks. So the first thing it'll ask you is high schools attended. You just input that information. And next, colleges attended, you input that information. How many ever colleges that you have been to, whether you transferred around, make sure you input all of them, all right? And it also will give you information about submitting your transcript. So make sure that you get this, official transcript received. Make sure you get that, okay? My school did it through Parchment. I'm not sure how your undergrad does it, but you will get that information from your undergrad, so don't worry. Next, we have transcript entry. So you enter a specific different transcript for each of the institutions that you attended. I only attended one, so I have one completely green, completely check mark. That means I inputted all of my courses in here. Now make sure that you're being careful when designating your courses as either science courses or math courses, whether it's physics, biochemistry, chemistry, organic chemistry. It asks you to select it, so make sure that you're inputting your classes into the correct category, because again, if you make a mistake, AACOMAS will send it back to you and you will start to get a little bit delayed. And my personal opinion is the faster you are, the earlier you submit stuff, the better situation you will be in for the application cycle, because most of these schools are on a rolling decision basis. So yeah, just input all of your courses into this section. When you're done, it'll show up just like this so that you know you're done. Then there is also a continuing education section for people who, let's see what it gives us. Okay, so these are additional courses that you might be taking outside of your bachelor's degree. This might be an online post-bac or a DIY post-bac. Whatever continuing education classes that you are taking, it will come in here. I did not take any, so that's why I said I opted not to add any continuing education courses, but I still have the check mark because I gave that designation. So don't forget to give that designation so that it doesn't leave it unchecked for you. Finally, we have the standardized test section. If you click, would you like to add a test, and ask specifically for your ACT or SAT score? I personally did not choose to send any of this because I did not feel that it was that relevant. And it is not really that relevant. They just use it for their own research purposes. And there are a few schools, very few, or only one, I think, DO programs that can take your SAT or ACT score in lieu of an MCAT score, which is written over here. But your MCAT score specifically, it does not get automatically sent to AACOMAS the way it does with AMCAS, which is the MD specific. You have to manually send it to AACOMAS, and then AACOMAS will make it available to all of the schools that you would choose to apply to. If you have any questions about that, leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you, or I can make another video about how to send your MCAT score to DO schools. So we went through personal information, academic history already. Now we're at supporting information. This is where you'll have your evaluations. These are your letters of recommendation. You will have your experiences. This is the activities section, equivalent to the activities section on the AMCAS, which is MD specific again. But the difference between AMCAS and AACOMAS is that this DO application allows you to input unlimited experiences, but it does not give you 3 most meaningful. So if I open this up, you input all of your experiences. You don't get most meaningful, and you do get a blurb over here, 600 characters. You get to write about your description, key responsibilities, and all of that. You do get this for every single experience, but you do not get the 3 most meaningful. Then you will have the achievements section. You just click add an achievement and add whatever achievements that you may have earned in undergrad. And finally, the most important of all, you have your personal statement. I recommend typing it all out on a separate document and then pasting it here, and then editing in this document or on this website itself as well, because when you paste from an outside document, the formatting can get a little bit messed up, so just make sure about that. And for this, you get 5,300 characters, same as the AMCAS, which is for MD. You get 5,300 characters to basically say, why do you want to become a doctor? Why do you want to attend medical school? So it's a very exciting and important section. So this is all information that you should be filling out. This is where you have your list of every single DO program in the country, and you add whichever ones that you want to apply to. So you just click the plus sign and you add it. Once you added your programs, you go into program materials, and it has all the schools that you chose to apply to. Make sure you click on each one so that you get this checkbox after each one. That's the only way you know that your primary application has been completely finished and sent to that school. So let's click on this for example. It gives you all this information. You go to prerequisites. You have to, again, manually input whatever classes you took that meet the prerequisites that they have. So you do have to input that, which is kind of annoying, but it's okay. Now, some schools don't make you input the school-specific prerequisites, such as how I did over here with my English course, biology, general chemistry, organic chemistry. Some schools don't have that, but they do have questions built into the primary itself. So they won't send you a secondary per se, but you will fill out the essay questions in the primary application itself. So make sure you are coming into this section, the program materials section, and making sure that you're completing all the school-specific stuff that they have here, because they might have stuff, they might not have stuff. You should just be checking just in case. After you're done with all of that, like I said, you'll get a check mark here. If you have extra schools in here that you chose not to send the application out to, then you will not have a check mark. But if you do have a check mark here, that means you are done and you're ready to submit. You go to submit and you submit each of these schools. Of course, it'll only let you submit if you're completely finished green at the end and you have a check mark. And finally, after you submit, how do you know if the school received and verified your primary? You come over here. If you did not submit a certain application, it'll just say in progress. You come here and it says verified. Verified in green, and it lets you download a PDF of the application that you sent them. It has everything. So that's how you know that your primary application was successfully received and verified by each of these universities. And then the waiting game starts. Just make sure you start getting ready for secondaries early on. Definitely try to pre-write as much as you can, because they all do kind of come at once. And particularly the DO ones have been coming way earlier. So good luck. I hope this kind of gave you a little snapshot of what to expect with the AACOMAS application this upcoming cycle. Thank you. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments section.